It's that time again. This week we begin Obscure Characters Month, our annual showcase of lesser-known cult favourite bots from all across the Transformers universe. And we're kicking things off this year with the basics on that bounty-hunting bad boy, Devcon. Devcon was an original character created by writer Michael Charles Hill for the Transformers animated series in 1985. Appearing only in the episode The Gambler, he was an Autobot bounty hunter who transformed into a starfighter. He had left Cybertron millions of years ago during the war, and now roamed the galaxy alone, seeking Decepticons to bring to justice. In The Gambler, Devcon tracked a trio of Decepticons to the asteroid world of Monachus. There, he befriended the Autobot Smokescreen and the alien gambler Bosch, and joined in their effort to rescue a group of Smokescreen's fellow Autobots from the clutches of the Decepticons and their ally, local gangster Lord Geikenny. In the course of the adventure, Devcon saved Geikenny's wimpy henchman, the reptilian Slizardo, from being beaten up during a bar brawl, and the grateful Slizardo decided to turn on his boss and help Devcon and the others locate and save the Autobots. As the defeated Decepticons and Geikenny fled into space, Devcon invited Slizardo to join him as his partner, and the episode ended with the pair taking off in pursuit of the villains. Unfortunately, it seems the partnership didn't last. While Devcon didn't appear in the series again, Slizardo returned in the 1986 episode Grimlock's New Brain, set 20 years after The Gambler, now working for the Decepticons, alongside his new partner, the alien mercenary, the Skuxoid. As an original character created for the cartoon, Devcon wasn't represented in the original Transformers toy line, and he wouldn't be seen again for over 15 years. But eventually, the character was brought back by the official Transformers convention, Botcon, to star in their exclusive comic series, The Wreckers, which began in 2001. This comic was set centuries after the original cartoon, during the events of the 1999 series, Beast Machines, by which time Devcon had given up bounty hunting and now worked as one of Cybertron's peace marshals. It was in this capacity that Devcon was badly injured fighting the Viacon army of the Predacon Megatron, but he managed to survive by transferring his spark into one of the Viacon drones. In this new form, Devcon hooked up with the commando unit, the Wreckers, and joined them on a mission to stop the schemes of the Predacon Cryotech to steal the power of the Transformers' god, Primus. Devcon's new body was designed to look like a recolor of the Beast Machine's Mirage toy, which transformed into a Cybertronian race car, because Mirage had a distinctive blaster on top of his head, just like Devcon did. Botcon proposed producing an actual toy of Devcon's new form as an exclusive for the 2002 convention, but it didn't happen, and so in the course of the Wrecker's story, Devcon quickly abandoned the body and was rebuilt back into his original form. A few years later, a second Devcon toy was proposed, this one a retool of the jet fighter Slugslinger from Transformers Energon, but it also went unmade. Now, the only real personality that Devcon had exhibited in the original cartoon was a dedication to his work driven by a hatred of Decepticons. The comic expanded on this to characterize him as a cynical and abrasive loner, explaining that he had dumped Slizardo not long after the events of The Gambler. However, working with the Wreckers convinced him that there might be something to teamwork after all, and the story ended with him setting off to find Slizardo and renew their partnership. Devcon made only minuscule cameo appearances in the rest of the 2000s, popping up for a single panel of Dreamwave Productions' 2003 comic book War and Peace, and making a blink-and-you'll-miss-it return to TV screens as a holographic bust in Transformers Animated in 2009. And then there was the odd case of the 2011 live-action movie Dark of the Moon. This film very briefly featured a large Decepticon seemingly designed to resemble the monster from the movie Cloverfield. concept art for this bot showed their alternate mode to be a Soviet-Russian artillery truck, and labelled them with the name Devcon. Now, this was probably just meant to be a placeholder or a codename. A lot of other art for the film labels characters in a similar way. But to date, this bot's never been given any other name, so we still call them Devcon today. Now, at one point, Hasbro explored the possibility of creating a toy of Devcon by retooling the 2011 Generation Scourge figure, another toy with a similar head-mounted blaster. But they didn't follow through on the idea, and the Devcon head sculpt they developed was instead used for a different recolor of the figure as one of Scourge's minions, the Sweeps. It was Botcon who once again dragged Devcon back out of obscurity, when, by complete coincidence, they had the same idea as Hasbro to retool and recolor the Scourge figure, designing their own unique new head for it. And so, at last, the first ever toy of Devcon, sporting a blended wing body aircraft alternate mode, was released as an exclusive at Botcon 2014. The toy earned Devcon an appearance in that year's convention-exclusive comic, this one set long after Beast Machines. In this era, Devcon was one of the Cybertronian Knights, the latest protectors of the Transformers' homeworld, for whom he put his old bounty hunting skills to use, tracking down criminals and bringing them in for judgment. The comic followed Devcon as he hunted down Flame War, a fanatical Decepticon who had repeatedly managed to elude him in the past, which led him and the Knights into a clash with Flame War's new allies, the Space Pirates, the Star Seekers. After this moment in the spotlight, Devcon went back to making only the most minor of cameo appearances in the occasional piece of niche fan-targeted media. His most notable showing in the last decade was a brief role in the Transformers Legends manga in 2019, an alternate continuation of the original cartoon, which reunited Devcon with his old friend Smokescreen and revealed that he had mended fences with Slizardo, and now worked in partnership with him and the Skuxoid as a detective. But it was amongst these tiny appearances in 2023 that Devcon at last received his first mass-market toy in the Transformers Legacy line, a heavy retool of the Studio Series Blur figure, faithfully based on the bounty hunter's appearance in the original cartoon. Unfortunately, this toy hasn't inspired any major new media appearances for Devcon yet. But who knows? Given that the new Transformers tie-in comic book series from Skybound, Void Rivals, has seen appearances from all his old allies and enemies like Slizardo, Bosch, Lord Gaikini, and the Skuxoid, perhaps it's only a matter of time until Devcon shows up to join them. And those are the basics on Devcon, from solo operator to team player. If you like this video, stick around for more obscure character spotlights every Saturday in December. Subscribe so you don't miss them, or get early ad-free access by supporting the show on Patreon.